If you're bringing on a new team member and using Asana to manage your projects, you need a solid onboarding system. Otherwise, you'll spend way too much time answering the same questions, fixing miscommunications, and trying to get them up to speed when they could already be working efficiently from day one. Hi, I'm Samantha, here to help online coaches, freelancers, and other small service-based entrepreneurs organize and streamline their business operations so that they can save time and mental energy and focus on what they love to do. So I've helped clients, team members, and even clients' team members transition smoothly into Asana. And I've seen firsthand what happens when someone isn't onboarded properly. It leads to confusion, missed deadlines, and way too many unnecessary emails. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll have a simple 3-step system that makes onboarding in Asana a breeze. Plus, I'll share how to create quick video tutorials so you don't have to explain the same thing over and over again, an integration that will make creative teamwork so much easier, and the biggest mistake people make when onboarding in Asana, and how to avoid it. So stay tuned for all of this helpful info. So the first step is adding your new team member to the right teams and projects. This might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how often people skip this step or don't do it correctly. So let's talk about why this matters. Say you hire a new team member and they're excited to get started, but when they log into Asana for the first time, they see nothing. No tasks, no projects, no clear direction. Now they're stuck wondering, where do I start? What am I even supposed to be doing? So on the flip side, you might accidentally give them too much access, meaning they can see things they shouldn't, like sensitive financial data or private strategy documents. So getting this step right isn't just about giving access, it's about giving the right access so that your new team member has everything they need to do their job without feeling lost or overwhelmed. So here's how to do it right. When adding a new team member to Asana, I follow a simple process to make sure they're set up properly. The first thing you need to do is make sure they're added to the teams they'll be working with. Think of teams in Asana as categories in your business. So you might have teams like marketing for content creation, social media, and email campaigns, sales for lead tracking, proposals, and follow-ups, operations for SOPs, team management, and financial tracking. And no matter how you have yours organized, make sure that your new team member is placed where they need to be from day one. Now, you want to keep in mind that when you assign them to a team, they will have access to all public projects within that team. If you only want them to have access to a specific projects within that team, then you will want to start by adding them to just those projects instead of teams. So that leads us to the next step. Give them access to the right projects. So if you only want them to have access to specific projects within a team and have your project as public, then you're going to want to give them access to just those select projects. So inside each team, your Asana setup might have multiple projects, such as a marketing team that has projects of social media calendar, email campaigns, and blog content. Your sales team might have projects of client leads, follow-up system, outreach strategies. And then your operations team might have projects like standard operating procedures, team management, and financial tracking. So if your team member is in charge of updating and creating SOPs, they probably don't need to see all the other high-level operations work like team management or financials. So only give them access to what's relevant to their role. And here's a tip. If you're onboarding multiple people, create a checklist of required project access so you don't have to manually think about it every time you add someone new. Next, make sure they can see what they need and nothing more. This is where things can go wrong if you're not careful. So you don't want someone to accidentally delete or edit tasks they shouldn't touch, or get overwhelmed by unnecessary information, or see sensitive data that isn't relevant to their role. So here's how to double check permissions before finishing up. If you use private projects, make sure the right people have permission to view and edit tasks. Otherwise, they might not see anything at all when they log in. If you have confidential or high-level projects, use limited access settings so they can only view what they need. If you're not sure, do a quick test. Log in as the new team member or ask them to check and confirm that everything looks right. And here's a tip. If you ever need to adjust access later, Asana makes it easy to change permissions at both the team and project levels. So if someone's role shifts, you can update their access pretty easily. So setting up your new team member correctly from day one saves you a ton of time, confusion, and frustration down the line. Instead of answering endless questions like, where do I find this? Or why can't I see that? You can onboard them smoothly and efficiently with just a bit of upfront effort. Then once they're added to the right teams and projects, the next step is making sure they actually know how to use Asana properly, which is exactly what we'll cover next. But first, let's talk about a common challenge that can happen once your new team member is set up in Asana: managing creative feedback and approvals. And thanks to today's sponsor, GoProof, there's finally a way to make this process so much easier. If you've ever dealt with messy email threads, vague feedback like make it pop or needs more energy, or if you've struggled with multiple versions of a file, you know how frustrating the review process can be. Struggling to keep projects on track leads to missed deadlines, slow approvals lead to frustrated clients, and inefficient processes create unnecessary stress and burnout for your team. So that's where GoProof comes in. It's an online dashboard designed to simplify and streamline the creative review process. And it's built to integrate directly with Asana, making creative approvals seamless. All you do is navigate to the apps section in GoProof and enable the Asana integration. Log into Asana, select a project, and add the GoProof app via the Customize option. Instead of tracking revisions across endless emails or juggling PDFs, you can manage everything right inside Asana, which you know I'm all about. So to create a new GoProof job, you just open a task, click on the GoProof Create button, and select Job. Fill in the necessary details like client and project names, then submit. So here's how it works. Attach proofs to Asana tasks and collect feedback in real time. No need to switch between tools. Precise in-context comments ensure clear, actionable feedback. Every revision is automatically tracked, so your team always works on the latest version. So if you want to speed up approvals, reduce stress, and keep everything inside Asana, go check out GoProof today at this link. Give it a try and streamline your workflow even more. Okay, back to onboarding your new team member into Asana. Step 2 is train them on Asana's essential features. So now that your new team member has access to the right teams and projects, the next step is teaching them how to actually use Asana effectively. I know what you might be thinking, wait, do I have to train every single person on every little feature? Well, no. You don't need to overwhelm them with every single feature and setting in Asana. Instead, you just need to focus on the essentials, the features they'll use every single day to stay organized and communicate with the team. In my experience, there are 3 things that every new Asana user must know: how to use the inbox and turn off email notifications. So one of the biggest mistakes new Asana users make: not checking their Asana inbox regularly. So here's what the inbox does. Asana's inbox is where you get real-time updates on task assignments, due dates, comments, and team mentions. It replaces the need for endless email threads, keeping all project updates in one organized place. So what happens if they don't use it? Well, their inbox gets cluttered and they start missing important tasks. They communicate via email or messaging apps instead of updating tasks in Asana, leading to confusion and causing team members to not know where to check for status updates. And if they don't use it correctly, they could get bombarded with emails instead. That's why one of the first things I tell teams is to disable Asana email notifications. So here's how they can do it. All right, so you're going to go up here where their profile picture is in the top right corner. And you're going to click that, and then you're going to go down to settings, and then you are going to go to notifications right here. And then you can see all of your notification information here. So you're going to go down to email notifications, and then you can choose what to check off and what not to. So you see that I have all of these turned off. I just have one turned on. And so you'll have them turn off all of these. Sometimes I do recommend keeping the summaries turned on while people are still getting used to using Asana, just as like a reminder of what is in there waiting for them. But if they don't need that reminder, then turn that off as well. Teach them to check their Asana inbox instead of relying on email. And here's a tip. If they're worried about missing updates, let them know they can adjust inbox filters to see only what's relevant to them, like tasks assigned to them or messages from their manager. So next, you want to make sure your new team member sets up their profile so everyone on the team knows who they are. So here's why this matters. A blank profile can make it hard to recognize who's who, especially in larger teams. Having a real name and profile picture helps build connection and accountability. It's like you're actually interacting with and working with another human. So here's what they should do. All right, so navigate to the profile by going up into the top right corner here. It will likely just be their initials, and then edit profile, and then you will see all of this information that you can fill out. So you can upload a new photo. I already have one, but you can remove the photo. You can upload a new photo so that they're easy to recognize, right? Have them fill in their full name and their role. This is my own account, but in my clients' accounts, I do, put what my role is if I'm in their account. And then that way others, know what they do and what everyone's role is in the business. And then optionally, you can add this other stuff. So you can add a short bio or contact details. You can even record an audio clip. There's lots of different things that you can do in here. You can, put, this isn't mine, this is an example, but like you can put what hours you typically work or something about you, right? So here's a tip. If your team works remotely, encourage everyone to use a clear professional photo, not a blurry selfie or a random avatar. It just makes collaboration so much easier when you can put a face to a name. And finally, they need to know how to track their work. And that's where the My Tasks view comes in. This is one of my favorite features of Asana that other similar tools don't have. So here's what My Tasks does. It shows all tasks assigned to them across all projects. It helps them stay on top of deadlines and avoid missing anything. It allows them to prioritize and organize their workload. So what happens if they don't use it? Well, they lose track of their assignments and forget what's due. They constantly ask, hey, what should I be working on? And they slow down team progress because they're not aware of pending tasks. So the solution? Teach them how to use it. So here's what I walk them through. Okay, so you click on My Tasks up here in the left sidebar, and then you will see all of your tasks, and you can see them in list view, board view, or calendar view. So here's what it looks like in list view. You can have it sorted by today, tomorrow, the next 7 days. You can add filters, sort it in different ways, and group it in different ways. There's lots of customization that you can. If you do prefer the list or board view, I do recommend sorting it in some way like this, with like today, like upcoming, near future, and later tasks that aren't due anytime soon. You can do that in list or board view, and you can do that with the sections here. So you see, you can also have due today, recently assigned, due this week, due later, right? So those are some examples that you could set up in those views. And then there's the calendar view, which is my personal favorite, because you can see the tasks and see how your week is laid out. You can also set it to show the month view if you prefer. I prefer the week especially because I usually have more than the 4 that it does show tasks per day. I have a lot of tasks to do in a day. And so you can also see any that have no date by clicking here, and you can choose whether to show weekends or not right here. So layout options, show weekends, so I can toggle off the weekends or turn them on. Encourage them to check My Tasks daily, just like they would check their email. And here's a tip. Some people find it helpful to set up custom sections in My Tasks, like priority tasks, waiting on feedback, etc. If that sounds like something they'd use, show them how to do it. So how do you onboard new team members into your workflow? Do you use Asana or another system? Let me know in the comments. So once your new team member knows how to check their inbox instead of relying on email, set up their profile so they're recognizable, and use the My Tasks view to stay organized, they'll feel way more confident navigating Asana, and you won't have to micromanage them every step of the way. The next step, making sure they're actually using Asana consistently, which we'll cover in the next part. But first, if you're not sure where to start with Asana, I've got a brand new free training for you. It's called How Online Business Owners Are Transforming the Way They Work by Using Asana. This training will show you how to streamline your business operations using Asana so you can work smarter, not harder. Click the link up here to check out the free training. All right, here's where a lot of people go wrong when onboarding new team members in Asana. They try to train every new person one-on-one over and over again. They spend way too much time answering the same questions, and they don't document the process, so everyone learns Asana differently, leading to confusion. If this sounds familiar, don't worry, you're not the only one. The solution? A simple video training. So here's why video training works better than one-on-one training. It saves you time. No more repeating the same explanations. It ensures everyone learns the system the same way. New hires can rewatch it anytime instead of asking repeat questions. This one small change can completely transform how smoothly your team gets up to speed in Asana. So how I do this for my team and my clients is I personally use two different approaches depending on the situation. So for my own team, when I bring on a new team member, I don't start from scratch. Instead, I send them straight to specific videos on my YouTube channel that show how to get everything set up and the basics on how to use Asana and how to use Asana as a team. This works because the videos are already made, so I don't have to keep re-explaining things. It keeps the training consistent for every new team member. If they forget something, they can rewatch it instead of messaging me. If you don't have your own videos yet, you can find tutorials on YouTube and send those instead. Just make sure that they align with how your team actually uses Asana. When working with clients and their teams, my approach depends on my role. So when I was an online business manager, I would record a custom video walkthrough of how their Asana workspace works. So this would include a step-by-step tour of their Asana setup, how tasks, projects, and workflows are structured, and any key processes or automations they need to know. And then anything else that's relevant to how they use Asana as a team, since every team is different. Now, if I'm mentoring them through back pocket support, I help them outline what to include in their own training video so they or another team member can record it themselves. Every Asana training video should cover the basics of how to set up and use Asana in case they are brand new to it, such as setting up their profile and using my tasks and inbox as we discussed previously. It should also include how your team uses Asana, your unique setup and workflow. It should also include where to find key projects and tasks so they don't waste time searching. And it should also include how to communicate in Asana, when to use Asana task comments versus messages, and then common mistakes to avoid to keep everything organized. And the video doesn't have to be fancy. Just a simple screen recording with your voice explaining things works perfectly. And you can easily do this with tools like Tela, which is my current favorite screen recording tool right now. And lucky for you, I have a discount link for you. You can just click here to save a lifetime 30% off your subscription. So do you use video training to onboard your team, or do you prefer one-on-one training? Let me know how you do it in the comments. So by creating a simple video training, you'll save hours of repetitive one-on-one training. You'll ensure every team member learns Asana the same way, and you'll give new hires a resource they can refer back to anytime. This is one of the easiest ways to streamline your onboarding process and get new team members comfortable with Asana fast. Now, I promise to share the biggest mistake people make when onboarding a new team member in Asana. So here it is. They don't assign a team Asana expert. So even with a great video training, new team members might still have questions. Assigning them a team Asana expert, someone on your team who's already comfortable with Asana, knows the ins and outs, and helps them feel supported and speeds up the learning curve. This will be the point person for any Asana related questions every time you hire a new team member and on an ongoing basis. This small step makes a huge difference in how quickly they adapt. Now, if you're a relatively small team or you're just hiring your first team member, then that team Asana expert might just be yourself, and that's totally fine. As long as there is someone knowledgeable about Asana and who stays up to date with any changes that other team members can go to. So before we wrap up, let me share a quick personal experience when onboarding new team members into Asana. One thing I always prioritize is making sure my team members feel comfortable using Asana and comfortable asking me questions. Because when they feel supported, they're much more likely to use the system correctly and efficiently. I also do regular check-ins to make sure everything is running smoothly. And if they're missing something or not following a process properly, I gently remind them and guide them back on track. For larger teams, I've seen businesses benefit from having a dedicated Asana expert on their team, as mentioned, someone who can answer questions, refine processes, and keep everything running efficiently. Now, if you don't have time to do this yourself and you aren't ready to hire a dedicated person for this just yet, that's exactly what I can help with inside Back Pocket Support. I can be your back pocket Asana expert. So if you want to see a more in-depth tutorial of how to use Asana as a team, or have a video to direct your team members to, you can click here to watch this video next. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you, and I will see you next week. Bye.